Hey, Harlan.
Hey Phil, nice to see you.
How you doing?
Good.
Greetings from Holden Beach, North Carolina.
I am in Boston, well, near Boston. We're about to have a snowstorm here tomorrow, actually. So,
Oh, no.
yeah, they're expecting like almost 12 inches of snow. It should be fun. No school,
Uh,
hopefully, for the kids and
well, that'll be
everybody.
fun. It's
Yeah.
60 degrees, raining, has rained. It's still quiet and still. And I'm in shorts. Two t-shirts, but shorts. We'll get warm in a couple months when you'll see you in Florida. So, uh, you have this idea about talking about next generation tools and teams, streamlining delivery. What does that mean to you? Why is that important?
Well, I think, the industry really struggles with delivery overall, with delivery of projects, whether that be
Okay.
2D documentations, sheets, models. Um, and there's a lot of industry talk about what does the next generation look like and why. And I think a big question that we need to kind of answer as an industry is why do we care, and what's actually valuable in particular, because I think um, generally there's kind of people wanting the next gen thing, wanting to kind of move forward, but nobody really can articulate at the end of the day what value it brings. As the Revit product manager, I get a lot of questions about productivity. A lot of people talking about why do they use Revit every day? Why are we involved in the workflow? And we end up with people saying, well, get rid of all the tedious tasks and workflows. Like, I don't want to do any of that stuff. And then the question inevitably becomes like, well, what does that mean though to the business of architecture? What does that mean to what you do as an architect or as an engineer? And everybody's like, well, I'll do more interesting things. And I think that's a question I want to discuss with everybody at the conference, and kind of unpack a little bit and get people's perspectives around the table. I think
Hmm.
that's really interesting to me, and where I kind of tend to go is where is all this heading?
Do you think it's a technology challenge? Is it kind of an evolved industry challenge in the way that we deliver things, from what something is to where it is to how it's assembled, and then we give that detail to somebody else who's going to manufacture the piece, and then they come up with a shop drawing, and it gets reiterated, and it get right. Are we going to solve that with technology, you think, or is there an opportunity to streamline the process where there's less double handling?
I definitely think that the ability to kind of have technology play a role is going to be
Hmm.
important. I also think, though, this is kind of fundamentally a business question about how do architects drive a business, how do you make money, and how does the industry handle risk as a whole? I mean, what we've been dealing with in the industry is long-standing practices that are really about how do you minimize risk, right? How do you
Right, right.
deliver a set of drawings that gets the thing built and that architects can actually be like, hey, go build this thing. And all of these things are intertwined in my view. Like, the technology has to serve a purpose, right? It has to provide new value to a large extent, especially when we're talking about a new tool on the market. Like, it has to provide, and it has to fundamentally provide, I think, value over and above what's already possible today. Because if it doesn't, nobody bothers using it, right? They kind of just, okay, it's not doing anything different, so why should I? Why should I invest my time and energy into it? So it has to kind of fundamentally change what people do.
The amount of information prior to construction that's assembled to mitigate risk.
Hand drawing to CAD to BIM, and every step in that chain has basically resulted in more drawings. And the question for me that I want to pose to the group is sort of, is that produce better buildings, right? Or do we even know? I mean, I've had a lot of conversations where most of the architects and engineers are, well, deadline driven. Like, we're going to work until the deadline.
Right.
And if the owner says your deadline's in 2 weeks, I'm going to get as much done as I can in 2 weeks and try to accelerate the process, right? When everybody talks about accelerated timelines, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about owners expect things faster. And we're saying, oh, we're going to deliver exactly the same amount of stuff, or try to deliver the same amount of stuff. So we want to automate as much as we can, right? That's generally as a high
Yeah,
level.
it doesn't seem like the technology is allows you to go faster so much as it allows you to do more rigorous discovery. It actually allows you to change things. So when I mean, we had projects in CAD 30 years ago where the boss said, yeah, that's a great idea for the next project. Like we can't do that now because we don't have the time. Whereas now we can kind of accommodate late information in a way that, so we're still working on the weekends. I don't know a better way to do it unless there's kind of a shift of risk mitigation.
Yeah, it gets really fundamental, like you said, to kind of the business model. Where is the work? And I bet you, if architects are listening, they're like, I don't want to work for contractors, right? I want to do design work.
I mean, if you're working for the right contractor, if it doesn't feel parasitic, if you're all just trying to get it done, it seems like that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what I love what we're seeing now is this idea of how do we get manufacturing information closer to the architect, right? So that they're more informed design and more about, hey, this is the kit of parts kind of approach. And like, we're not building these one-offs that don't have cost certainty. I'm really curious about, again, the delivery side of this and like, what do architects and engineers, what are we trying to produce? And how can we do that in a way that actually helps move the industry forward? Like, we don't want to be working weekends, right? So like that has propagated for.
Do you ever work weekends?
Sure, if I have to.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's fun. It's like, but if it's interesting and you're all like, as long as you don't come in on Monday and go, oh yeah, that thing you had to work on all weekend, yeah, it's not. We don't need that. They don't need that.
Right. It was, or like, oh, you wasted your time, or
right.
Valuable. And I think as long as you enjoy it, then normally people are like willing to do it. And in software, we do it all the time, right? I mean, we have to get stuff out and be able to work on, not all the time, but it happens. And how do our tools help support that? I mean, Revit's these days is one of those tools that everybody talks about is like, oh man, I wish, it could be more, get rid of these tedious workflows. Why can't I do that? Why can't I do this? And we're trying to find those ways. And that's where I'm excited to come to the event is I get that opportunity to hear from a bunch of industry leaders, network, but also kind of get top of mind about this topic that for me is close to my heart. I've been dealing with documentation and deliverables for a long time now and trying to make sure that, projects get done well. And I think that's what Autodesk wants to do is to help people generally deliver great buildings. So how do we do that?
All right. Harlan, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, buddy. Look forward to seeing you from the 28th of February, which is about 2 weeks away. So that's February, March, April, 20th of April. So let's say 2 months and 2 weeks. Just around.
Yeah, I'm excited. It'll be great. Okay. I'm looking forward to Florida and the nice weather.
Thanks, Harlan. Have a great day.
All right. Take care.